Shut up and sit down.
I want to start putting out a video each week. So first of all, I apologize for not having put out a video for a couple weeks, and sorry that Bucky's not making an appearance in this one, but maybe next video. But I want to start putting out a video each week on our R.I.P.L system. So there's a lot of protocols and systems out there that help somebody kind of walk their way through the mobility process. We think ours is pretty good. It's called R.I.P.L. It's an acronym, just stands for Reset, Integrate, Pattern, and Load. So we really believe that if you break each one of those parts down and only do one thing, you're kind of missing the whole picture, and we're probably not going to get the results we're looking for. It's going to take a lot longer to get over that injury or recover faster. So we want to make sure that we're going through this process, and it's really, if you walk through this process, even though it may seem like we're taking more time, it's going to save you a lot of time on the back end. So the reset, real quick to explain this, you can also go on our website, chirofarm.com. There's a page on the R.I.P.L system itself. Reset, that's going to be something like an adjustment, myofascial therapy, foam rolling, using a stick, sitting on a lacrosse ball, all the things that aren't the greatest in the world when we're doing them, but we know we reap a big benefit. The integrate, is picking that movement we're working on and starting to work on that movement, sometimes in a more developmental or rudimentary position than the big movement. Say if we're trying to do a squat, maybe we just don't start squatting immediately. We need to break that down into parts. The P of the R.I.P.L, or the pattern, is taking that rudimentary broken down movement, adding it to the big piece, so adding it back into a movement like a squat or a deadlift. And then the last part of that equation, or that protocol, is L for load. So we want to take that movement, we want to load it, we want to force the cortex to kind of adapt positively to all of the work we just put down. So we're going to work today. I thought of this one because I'm extremely sore through my posterior chain from yesterday's workout. So we're going to talk about posterior chain and realize we're focusing, it's going to look like we're focusing on hamstrings, but nothing is just a standalone muscle. It's all chains, it's all connected. But we're going to focus most of our soft tissue work and a lot of the mobility work on that hamstring. So I'm going to flip roles with Dr. Sloan here, and she's going to start to walk us through this protocol or the system. Say hi, Dr. Sloan.
Hello.
So first of all, Sloan, what do you got there?
Two lacrosse balls taped together. It makes a peanut.
So you can buy one for $25, or you can buy 6 lacrosse balls, keep one out, single for ancillary work, tape 2 together, and you still got 3 to sell to your friends for $15 and you just made some money. Okay, so she's gonna take the 2 lacrosse balls. She's gonna put them under her hamstring, right up by her sit bone there. And then this, to some of my colleagues, may look like a portion of sciatic nerve flossing, but we're basically taking the sciatic nerve, putting it right in between those 2 lacrosse balls, and now she gets to hit the medial side and the lateral side of the hamstring, or both the semi group and then the biceps femoris group. And she's just gonna go through this little kind of knee extension flossing maneuver, and maybe 2-3 times at each spot with the lacrosse balls, and moving that lacrosse ball down until it's right behind the back of her knee. And she's just gonna kind of speed through this because we're just demoing today. Now, we could still break out the foam roller. We could use all sorts of things to go after the hamstring, but realize part of the reason that we're doing this, or what we need to know, is why we're doing this, I guess. So we're doing it really to kind of just run interference on the muscle. Sometimes there are sticky spots in the fascia of the muscle itself, but what we're trying to do is really just run interference. So now, Sloan's gonna move into, so we just hit the R portion, we're gonna hit the I portion. So we're gonna start to integrate. So Sloan is gonna go into what we call our door frame hamstring stretch here. So she's gonna start with her backside pretty close to the door frame there, and she's making sure that that down leg is straight. You can see her starting to make some fists here. So she's gonna start to basically use what we call muscle irradiation. So she's gonna kind of lock down her lats as she slides that heel up the wall and getting that knee straight. Now what she's gonna do that you can't see before she lifts her legs, so let's go leg down. She's kind of pushing down like if she was driving her fist into my hand. So she's locking her lats down, she's pushing her heel into the floor, and when she does that, she's gonna try to keep that knee straight, lift, hold for a second or two, let everything relax, slide the heel back down into a relaxed position, Now, one thing we also want to focus on is our breath. So she's going to slide back up. When she hits the top here, she's going to give a big inhale through her belly. She's going to lock all those down, and now exhale on the lift, and then let everything relax and start all over again. So again, we're going to speed through there. We may do 5, 6. Honestly, we do it until we have made change or there's no longer change being made. Pretty good mobility right there. All right. So now we've hit our R, we've hit our I. So the third part is going to be the P, or the pattern, which for right now we're going to say is a straight leg raise, which would equate to bending over, touching your toes, picking up something off the floor, a deadlift. So you can see Sloan, we're still working on that right side more or less. So Sloan's got a kettlebell in her left hand. She's got that fist locked out on the right. And now what she's going to do is make sure that, first of all, her low back gets flattened to the floor. So she's got a $100 bill that I might come try to steal here in a sec. She's flattening. She's going to give a big breath in. And on the exhale, she's going to lift, getting that leg straight. And what we're doing with the kettlebell here, and legs coming on down, the kettlebell is just giving the core a little bit of extrinsic kind of force. So she's having to kind of stabilize there, which is going to allow that hamstring neurologically to just free up a bit. So again, we're just trying to trick the brain into kind of letting that muscle go. Which brings up a good point. When we're stretching, we're doing work like this, realize change is not being made in the muscle. The biggest gains in flexibility and even the first part of a strength training program are made neurologically. So the last thing here, Sloan is going to get set up for an eccentric, so that's what the band is adding to this, single leg deadlift, and we're not going to have any knee bend since we're going after mobility. So she's going to lock those hands down by her side. She's going to make sure that that left hand that has a band in it stays really locked to that left thigh, and she's going to look like she's going into our little airplane, keeping that leg straight, staying solid, and she's going to go until she gets her torso parallel to the floor. Then she's going to control it back up. And we're going to do that a couple more times. One big key here, so give us one with some external rotation around that left or right hip. So de-rotate there. So give us a bad one, Sloan. Yep. So there's a can opener. So now Sloan's not having to use that right glute eccentrically to control herself. She's just riding on the hip. So we want to make sure that her backside, again, stays parallel, or hip bones stay parallel to the floor. And again, an eccentric load causes a lot of vibration with suboptimal muscle fiber recruitment, so that's a really good way to kind of just hit everything home here. And now, of course, we didn't do our first assessment because Sloan's really good, but hopefully this is what everybody's would look like after they've gone through this. We got a nice curve through the spine, we've got straight knees, and we can palm the floor. Now, that may not be where you're at today, but maybe we do this over the course of 2-3 weeks and maybe we can get there. But I'm going to hand this back to Sloan. I'm going to kind of finish this up. Now again, going through a process like this just makes it easier, so we have a plan, but B, it makes it a lot faster and a lot more efficient. So we see a lot of people that foam roll, stretch, and they just never see change. We want to make sure that you're going in with a tactical and logistical plan on what you're actually trying to work on here. So use it as a recovery tool, use it as a mobility tool, use it as an injury prevention tool, but that's the R.I.P.L system, and kind of just a 10-minute little demo on the posterior chain. So again, I'm going to try to do a video each week on a different part of the body or a different issue or a different injury. If you got something in particular that you'd like me to go through the R.I.P.L system on, shoot me a message or a comment on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube account. Also, if you have any other questions or ideas for videos, you can shoot me an email, drbeaubeard@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, drbeaubeard, chirofrom.com. Thanks guys, see you next time.
Shut up and sit down.